Hello, my friend, and welcome. This is the Back to Me podcast, and I am Heather, and I am super excited that you are here. And I just want to let you know that you're going to hear some tips and some tricks, some ideas, all to help you live your happiest and healthiest life. It is called Back to Me because when you are taking care of yourself, then you can take better care of others. And my goal is to make the world a better place. This is Wellness Your Way. I am really happy that you're here. Your true self is waiting. So it is time to step up and thrive. Hello, my friends. Welcome. It's Heather. It's the Back to Me podcast. We are on a roll into when this airs spring. The days are getting longer. When we're recording this, the days are getting shorter. I think we're 12 hours away from the winter solstice. And Laura, welcome. Welcome to a very auspicious day to come and speak to me. And I didn't ask how to pronounce your last name.
It's Hoorweg. It's okay.
Okay. It's like, I knew there was something on my list of things to do that I forgot to do as we were chatting in advance. Welcome. It's so nice to connect with you and chat with you. And I couldn't fit all of the things that you do into your tagline, spiritual cleanser, intuitive coach, medium. There was something else, international spiritual.
Well, I'm a psychic medium, so I don't
Yeah.
just do mediumship work. Actually, the mediumship work is sort of a sideline. It's really, I use my psychic skills and reading energy to help people make their lives work.
Right. That's awesome. And the thing I'm always super curious about when I start talking to people is, how did you come to this place where you are using these skills? Like maybe it's when did you discover your skills, but how did you come to this place where you felt this was your thing to do, to use these skills to help people?
Well, the major changeover came when I left my 30-year career in advertising and marketing, and I decided that I didn't want to go back and do that kind of work again. And I
Right.
really wanted to help people. And I had been doing some of my clairvoyant work, my psychic work, helping people on the side as kind of a little side thing. And it just kind of was really calling to me. I'll have to say I was really called into this. And I started doing it full time. And I've been doing it full time now for almost 11 years. So, wow,
Wow.
where did the time go?
Right. I know what you mean. Like, holy moly. And it's so interesting. Like, how did you discover that you had this talent to be a medium? Like, what was your first inclination towards this?
Okay, I have to define something for people because
Okay.
a lot of people get confused.
Yeah.
Um, all mediums are psychic, not all psychics are mediums. Okay. So
Oh,
mediumship is a different gift. There's a lot of everybody is psychic to some degree or another. Okay. I always say everybody, it's like basketball. Everybody can play basketball but some people are just way better at it than others. And other
that's a
people
really
can,
good analogy.
yeah. And because everybody gets it, right? So
Yeah.
this is my guides gave it to me. So I thought, oh, okay, that's good. I like that. But mediumship is a different thing altogether because what a psychic reads energy and can read into the Akashic records and all kinds of things like that. But a medium is actually like an antenna, and we're actually receiving messages from those loved ones on the other side.
Hmm.
So that is a very different gift. Now, there's people out there these days, which is one of the bees in my bonnet, they are basically telling people that they can make them a medium. Well, they can't unless they have the gift. If you have the gift, somebody can help you to strengthen that gift and help train you in that work. But if you don't have the gift to begin with, they can't give it to you. So that's why the difference. Everybody is psychic, not everybody is a medium. And
Well,
there'll
and
be
it's good
people,
to know,
yeah,
right?
there will be people out there who want to argue with me, but I say go ahead because I have some of the foremost mediums in the world who agree with my my side of the story. So I go ahead. I don't
Yeah.
care.
everybody's got an opinion on everything. Like,
Exactly. I don't care
it's
anymore.
just the way life is. But it is interesting to know the distinction. I mean, like I read Akashic records, but I
Mhm.
would never say that I was going to speak to, like, I don't feel like I am speaking to people who have passed over. You know, I'm
No, because
receiving messages from
it's a different thing.
entities, but it's
Mm.
yeah. I think it would. I feel like it would be a different kind of thing entirely.
Yeah,
And do
that's
you
why.
find that so you're using your mediumship to help people, or just kind of
The
all of your
mediumship, the
skills?
media, well, there's different kinds of mediums too, and there's the kind that most people know about are what are called evidentiary mediums. They tend to give a lot of facts and things, and their basic purpose is actually helping to educate people and proving to people that there is life after death. Okay. In my normal vein, I don't care about proving anything to anyone. Okay. I
Right,
use my mediumship skills to help deliver important messages to loved ones on the other side, which really helps people to deal with their grief and their pain. And I'm all about helping people to heal. So that's what I use my mediumship gifts for mainly. But through that, of course, it also shows people that that we do go on after physical death. But that's not my mission. Yeah, my mission is to help people heal from their grief and to help them to know that their loved ones are still around them and that they're available to them. In fact, in more ways than they were when they were here in the physical. So that's what I'm doing with my mediumship. My psychic sessions and my spiritual counseling is a whole nother realm, because that's
okay,
really about helping the individual. And it's really funny, you talk about coming to your true self in the intro, and that's a huge part of what I do. It's helping people to be connected to their, what I call their authentic self, which is their true self. It's the person that they came in to be, uh, that they decided to be before they came into this lifetime, before they were brainwashed by their parents, by school, by religions, culture, media, into who they thought they should be,
right.
who often is 180 degrees from who we actually wanted to be when we came in. So that's a huge part of my work, because really you can't connect with your purpose, or some people call it the service that you came to provide, without connecting to your authentic self.
Right.
You
Yeah.
want,
And it's so,
you know,
I was just going to say, it's so interesting that you do. I mean, it's part of the deal, I guess. You don't remember when you come in
no,
what you agreed to do. You're supposed to discover it on the way. And all of these, your parents and friends and everything in this world right now, I don't think, for the most part, I don't think it's malicious directing you in a different direction. Although sometimes some of them I wonder, but they're doing the best. They don't remember either.
no,
So
yeah,
you need to find someone who remembers, who can you remember. So, and I guess this is what you're doing. You're helping people reconnect with that.
exactly.
And
That's a big part.
yeah,
And helping them to understand. I always say the main things I deal with are helping people find clarity, direction, and purpose, because you need all those things. And my guides have always told me a big job of spirit um, is actually to give us confirmation of our own intuition and our own guidance, because they don't want us to become dependent on them. They want to help us to strengthen our own connection with our own guidance and our own intuition. So that's a huge
right,
part of it, because a lot of people will come to me and they'll have gotten messages, or they'll have intuitional, peaks and tweaks and synchronicities and wonderful things happening, but they won't be exactly sure what they mean, or if, we're so ready to say, oh, that was my imagination, or that was just wishful thinking. So when they can hear it from spirit, from another person, even just if they think it's just me, well, they can't, because a lot of times tell them stuff that I would have no way of knowing.
Right.
But it really reinforces the fact of what they're picking up for themselves.
And it's so interesting what you just said, like they're trying to help you build the trust in your own
Mm-hmm.
knowing. And I think when people start out, they definitely, I feel, maybe not definitely, most people probably say what you just said, like, oh, that didn't happen. And
Yeah.
I'm just remembering, so there's a shaman that I work with, and I haven't met him in person. And the first time, like the part of the instruction was he will meet you in silence.
Mm-hmm.
So the first day I just sat in my silence and I just said, hello. And the energy that I felt, I was like, at first, when you stick your tongue on a battery, it felt like
Oh, yeah.
my whole body was sticking was on a battery. And then afterwards, I'm like, did I imagine that? Even though I know that I didn't, but you're some part of you tries to direct you the other way. What
Mhm.
do you think that is?
Well, I always say that's our humanist part.
Hmm.
Okay, that's that our 3D selves, our rational selves that kind of obfuscate everything that has kind of a spiritual bent to it. It's just if it's not radical, rational and logical. I combine the two words. You notice that?
Practical. Let's make a
Yeah,
new
I
word.
just created a new word. Yeah, okay. So it's not rational and logical, or can be proven by science, the scientific method, then it can't be true. But what I love is so many spiritual um, beliefs that have been held for thousands of years and that I've believed in for decades are now being proven. I love this by quantum physics, and it's like, hey, just point to that, like, science. You see that? You
Right.
see what they're saying? One of the biggest ones that's really been talked about a lot lately is the multi-dimensional or the multi-universe theory. And I've always been told for a long, long time that there's all kinds of dimensions that are just stacked on top of each other like those nested Russian dolls kind of thing, and we're all living in the same space. We're just living at a different frequencies, and so now
Right.
quantum physics has proven scientifically that there's up to 13. They've gotten as far as 13 dimensions or 13 universes. I actually been told there's way more than that, but at least they've proven up to 13 so far. So we'll just wait a couple of years and it'll go past that, way
Right.
past.
And it is so interesting that, like, we view the ancient past who believed what they
Mhm.
couldn't see as being somehow, um, primitive. And now that we can prove things, it's obviously we're much higher developed. And I'm thinking, I don't think that makes you more developed just because you have to see it to believe it. And I just remember we were talking about the dimensions. Yes. Where did I just lost my thought. Did you see the train exit the station?
Happens to me all the time.
Right? I think it was about quantum physics. It'll come back to me or
Yeah,
not. Maybe it doesn't need to. But it is true that now they're starting to go, oh, maybe they were right.
yeah.
But oh, I remember. So because you are, a spark of the divine and you create your reality and you have that power, whether people believe it or not, that I was reading something about, well, we found the edge of the universe, but because we decided to look further, it got bigger. So the more you look, the more there's going to be to see.
Exactly.
We thought we had the smallest particle, so we tried to look deeper, and pooh, oh my gosh, there's something smaller.
There's
So if you
something.
keep looking, you're going to keep finding stuff. So I feel like that with the dimensions. We found 13. There's only 13. Oh, wait a minute. We just found another.
Yeah, exactly. I know that's what's going to happen because I've been told that there's way more. In fact, considering the fact that I've been shown over and over again that everything is infinite, I would probably say that there's an infinite number of dimensions.
Right.
It's more about how many that we're able to access at any given time. But there's some
Okay.
neat things going on with that too. It's just more of a curiosity thing because, people are, as we raise our own vibration, we become more and more capable to see or experience other dimensions, because the dimensions are only, um, the only barrier between them is vibration. And if you get your vibration high enough to connect with another dimension, you will connect with it, whether it's physically in your waking time. You can also do it in sleep time. We can go pretty much anywhere in sleep time. But
Right.
well, that no, they just correct me. That's not quite true. Again, it depends. I love this, getting corrected, right? It depends on, again, it depends on your vibration. In order to get to certain places, you have to be, well, the rule goes the same as in the physical. You have to be equivalent to that vibration in order to enter it. But there are some weird things happening too, because a lot of times the veil, as we call it, between dimensions, there's times when there's so much energy influxing into our world, our 3D world, that sometimes that barrier gets very thin and you can kind of skate between. And I've had experiences like this, and it's really wild. They can get it can get really, it's like, whoa, is this really
Now,
happening?
are those energy times to do with astrological kind of events, or do you find that it's just
Some are astrological. Okay, some of them have to do with and there's so much energy coming into our world right now, into the earth, and it's coming into the earth. It's changing the actual vibration of the earth itself, but it's also coming into us,
mm,
into our bodies, into our both our physical body and our different energy bodies. So it's changing us too on all levels. So there's a lot of things going on, and a huge part of what's coming in right now is the influx of the divine feminine, which is like, wow, it's like mind blowing how quickly that is changing. And we are now officially in the Aquarian age.
did we
So
finally move?
yeah, it's
I know
like,
we were at the Kali Yuga. I'm like, when do we get out of the Kali Yuga? Let's go.
well, it's going to be interesting. I In 2020, my guides told me that the next 10 years, which would have been from 2020 to 2030, um, there's going to be more change on this earth than in the last 300 years. Okay, which is huge. Okay, because we're talking
Well, now
about,
we have 8, right?
okay, so now we've only got 5 years left. Okay, but if you look at the history of this earth, at the last 300 years, the majority of the change has happened in the last 100 years. Okay, that kind of gives you a bit more bite-sized piece. But even if you say 100 years, you're talking about that amount of change happening within 10 years. So that's tenfold. So just imagine, and we're now in the last half of that. Okay, we're now in the last half of that 5 years going into 2025. So this is why so many people are, so many sensitive, so many intuitives are all talking about, so many channelers are all talking about 2025. Because I'll tell you right now, I've been told 2025 is going to be 2025 and 2026 especially are going to be very challenging. Doesn't mean there's not going to be a lot of good things going on, but there's going to be it's going to be very challenging. And I've basically been told by my guides that what we really have to do is stay in love. If we go into fear, we're going to have a lot of problems. Okay, I'm talking as an individual. The only
Yeah.
thing you can control is your energy. So you need to stay in love and peace, and don't go into fear. Because if you go into fear, you're going to lower your own vibration. So that's going to hurt you. And also it's going to allow you to be manipulated. Because I tell you, there's still a whole bunch of folks out there who really want to, that last bit of that corrupted patriarchal energy that's been here for like 3,000 years is not going to go out with a whimper. They're going to go out with a bang. They're going to claw and hold on to power as much as they possibly can. But it's going to be a futile effort, but it's not going to be pretty.
Right.
Now, it
I
all
just look
depends
at,
on where you are, too. Like where you
yeah.
are in your vibration, where you are in the world. There's a lot of, and some places are going to be more challenging than others. But as
Well,
long
I
as you,
look at what's happening in the US,
oh,
and I'm in Canada for people who don't know.
so am I in Canada. And I'm really glad to be in Canada, by the way.
I know, right? But I look across the border and I think, wow, that's going to be a lot of disruption. I feel like,
Oh, you haven't seen anything
no,
yet.
I know I haven't. I've been listening to Conversations with Nostradamus by Dolores Cannon, and
Yeah.
I feel like I like 2020 was when COVID hit, right? So that was just the beginning of the holy
Yeah.
moly. And now we have AI coming. And every time I tune into something, AI is doing something else and something else and something else. And not to be in a place of fear, but just an awareness of it's true. You can easily drop into the sky is falling,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. You don't want to
And
do that.
trying to step into that place of trust where you're like, it'll this is the part we just got to swim through, and then we'll come out on the other side. So I always think of raising vibration as just changing your radio station. I want to listen to
It's true.
something, a different radio station. I'm turning the dial. Do you have something that you use that helps people um, have an awareness of what their vibration is, and that helps them kind of shift it, I guess? Something.
Well, the biggest, you have control over yourself and your environment. So the best and easiest way to shift your energy is by controlling the energy, your personal energy, and the energy of your space, which is like your home. Okay. There's never been a time where our home should be our castle more than right now. Okay. Because that, let's face it, that's where we spend most of our time. And that energy of that space needs to be very clean. I call it Zen. And when I say Zen, it means peaceful and uplifting. Okay. So anything that's in your space, so you don't want to allow, the biggest thing is not allowing the negative in. Okay. The biggest way to keep yourself positive and to raise your vibration and to keep it high is not to let all the negative stuff in, which is the mass media stuff, whether I don't care. You have to be cognizant and very aware of what you are letting into your psyche and your home, which means you don't want to be watching
The
in
news.
any form news. Exactly. You don't want music, what you listen to, you want everything peaceful and uplifting. Okay. And anything you read or online or anything, you want to make that a positive thing. The same thing with what you watch, like movies and television shows. You don't want to be watching stuff with a bunch of violence and all that stuff. You want to weed all that stuff out. Okay. The other thing is literal physical things that you can do in your home. Plants are wonderful. There's a list of 12 or 13 plants that clean the air. Well, I'll tell you a secret. They don't only clean the air, they also clean the energy in your home. So get a bunch of those. The other thing that works really well is simple stuff like salt lamps. I have 4 of them.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Large salt lamps. That, you know, that helps. Also, water features in your home. They bring very good energy into the home. So that's another thing you can do. Little fountains and things like that. Playing uplifting music that is in frequency. There's a ton of stuff like that now on YouTube. Okay, with these uplifting frequencies. I have music when I'm not working with a client. I have music playing all day long softly in the background because it sets the energy of the whole space. Now, for yourself as an individual, there's all kinds of self-care practices. Self-care is, self-care used to be kind of like optional. It's
Right.
absolutely absolutely necessary. It's just like, and especially if you're working with other people, if you're in some kind of healing modality, and I don't care what it is, like people heal in are healers in very, very different ways. Okay. But you need to take care of yourself. And it's the easiest ones, the ones that I use is meditation, yoga, um, making sure you get enough sleep, having a very clean and nutritious diet, uh, being very careful about the water that you put in your body. This is super important. Okay. I always knew it was important, but now I know how it's absolutely critical, because you should not, well, number one, you shouldn't be drinking tap water, and you should absolutely not be drinking any form of bottled water, because a lot of times the bottled water is worse than the tap water, believe it or not.
They
So
wouldn't tell you that, that's for sure.
Oh, they don't tell you that, but it is. Trust me. And especially depending on the brands and where the water is sourced, there's a whole bunch of things. Just take my word for it. Bottled water is not what it seems. Not to mention the fact that all bottled water just about comes in those horrible plastic bottles, and you're getting
Yeah,
all kinds of chemicals, and people are so worried about BPA is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole bunch of other things in plastics that you don't want to go anywhere near. So I suggest to people that you get if you have a house, you can get an osmosis filtration system on for your whole home. If you don't have that ability, I have a gravity fed one. You can get a Berkey or a Pro Pure water filter system that you can set on your counter. If you can't do anything else, go out and buy yourself some Brita jugs, because they're better. They don't do everything, but they're better than not doing it at all. Okay, because they do
right,
take a bit out, but they don't take everything out. Okay. The other thing is, ridding yourself of all these things that have all these chemicals in it. Like, watch what you buy. Anything from toothpaste to lotions to shampoos to skin creams, all those things, you want to go as natural as possible, because every single one of those, if you're just buying the crap that's in the store, is again full of all kinds of toxic chemicals. And the biggest ones these days are the estrogen mimicking chemicals. Okay, they're
right,
destroying women's bodies, and they're also destroying men's bodies. There is an absolute epidemic of young boys with undescended testicles. There's an epidemic now of young men with low sperm counts that we've never seen, like men in their 20s and early 30s that should be at the height of their fertility are having fertility issues because of all these estrogen chemicals which are in everything nowadays. So
right.
this is why you have to be very careful about not only about what you eat, but what you put on your body in terms of, and what you brush your teeth with. The other huge one is fluoride. Get rid of it. It's poisonous. Oh my God. Like, they used to use that during the Second World War in the prison camps to dumb down and make the prisoners docile. They would feed them fluoride. And fluoride, people don't realize, has been sold to us as this so-called miracle cavity preventer. It's a byproduct from aluminum production, and it's toxic. It actually, in
Right.
enough quantities, it actually does the opposite. It doesn't protect your teeth from tooth decay. It actually makes them decay. Not to mention all the other wonderful things it does to you. So get rid
No
of that.
wonder they gave us fluoride in school every week.
Oh, the fluoride thing is just, oh, it's the one of the biggest. We thought the tobacco industry and stuff was bad. Oh my God, there's like, it's just like, no,
Now
it's
people don't get even scared. Like,
no, don't get scared. It's just there's a difference. You need to educate yourself. Okay.
right.
And don't believe me. Go out and look and find the information, because it's out there to be had from very credible sources. These things have been known for decades. They just they've been suppressed, and the knowledge is out there if you go and look for it. It's
Well,
just
I
that
mean,
people.
doctors used to recommend cigarettes according to the ads,
Well,
right?
exactly. It'll
So
calm you down. Have a smoke. Yeah, really?
we just educate ourselves and we go, oh, I didn't know that. I will now change something, right?
Exactly. Just pick there. if you just change a few fundamental things about the way you eat and about the products that you use on your body, you will be amazed at the difference it can make. And the water that you drink, that's a huge one, because you have to remember how much water, how much of our percentage, like we're like 70% or more water
Yeah.
based. And also, I've been finding out more and more lately about how magical and divine actually water is. And I think we're going to find out, even again, if you want to go and look at how water can be influenced by emotions and all kinds of things, and by what's put in the water, and all. So water can be affected by emotions, and they've proven this scientifically.
Dr. Emoto. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Emoto, exactly. There you go. And if that can happen, just imagine what allowing yourself to be around a lot of violence or horrible, frightening news stories that aren't even true, by the way. I spent 30 years in the mass media, and I can tell you right now, most of the stuff in it's so-called news is not even true, by the way.
Right.
um, and it's made, the old saying, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
It's sensationalism. It's not even news. There hasn't been news for a very long time, decades
I
and
remember
decades.
I think Walter Cronkite, I felt like he reported the news.
I think that was probably the last death nails of when there was actually credible news.
Right.
And that's a long time ago.
That is a long time ago. That tells you how old I am.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not
It's all
admitting.
good. I mean, I am eternal.
I admit nothing.
I'm eternal. I am eternal.
We all are eternal. But yeah,
And
and
I like all of those things. Like all of
yeah,
those things are amazing. And I think that sometimes people feel like, oh, it's too much. Why even start? But like you said, like just do one of those things even and you'll start to
yeah.
shift things,
Like
right?
I said, 3 or 4 very simple things about changing your life and your lifestyle. They can make a huge impact on your health, number one, and they can make a huge impact on your vibration, which changes everything because it changes what you attract, whether it's things, people, money, energy, all of the above. Okay. And it also makes you see the world differently.
Right.
This is the part that people don't understand. As you raise your vibration, the way that you see the world becomes very different. And you're living in a very different energy than you were before. Because people talk about waking up. I'm not talking about the whole woke movement, by the way. That's a
No.
whole other game. I'm talking about being awake or awakening, and that is just awakening to your true spirit, to your true vibration, what's really going on. Because people forget we're spiritual beings having a human experience, having a physical experience. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience, which is a totally
Yeah.
different thing. Okay.
Totally different. Yeah.
Totally different thing. So,
Amazing. Oh my gosh. I feel like that's a really good list of things for people to like just stop and consider, like what would give you the most support if there is something challenging going on for you right now, right? Or in preparation for challenging things that are going to happen, because no matter what kind of where you live,
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
something's going to happen at some point. Like, maybe just trip and break your wrist in the desert, which is what I did last year. Um, and where do people find you?
The easiest place to find me is on my website, which is www.spiritspeaks2.me. I'm all over Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. Um, all kinds of places.
All the alls. We'll make
Yeah.
sure that we include all the alls in the show notes, but I like that spirit speaks to me.com.
Yes. No, Spirit Speaks to the number 2.me.
Oh, dot me. Oh, even
Dot me.
better.
Yes.
Yeah, cool is that? Oh my gosh, I like
So,
it. Beautiful. Laura, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I feel like you provided so many tools for people that the world is going to start to shift. It has no choice, really. I just want to make sure we tune into a higher vibe station. That's my goal. Before
definitely.
before we go, I always give the guests the final word of wisdom. Does maybe your guides have something they'd like to say?
You create your own reality. So take that into your hands, and that's empowering. Because when you stop blaming everybody else or situations, that's disempowering, because that means you can't change your life. But if you take responsibility for your life and you realize that you're creating your reality, that if you don't like what's happening, you can change it.
I think that's brilliant.
There
Thank
you
you so much. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah.
go. Okay.
Thank you, Laura. It was such a pleasure talking with you. I feel like I'll talk to you again sometime soon.
Laura 2.0.
Laura 2.0. We will see you again soon, friends. Call Laura. Go talk to have a chat with her and her friends. Send this to someone who you know might need some help taking, ownership of their life, or anybody you just think would be interested. Share the love. Share the love. We will see you again next time. Hello, my friend. I hope you enjoyed that episode. And if you found it useful and you're like me and you want to help others, please share this, comment, like, subscribe, all of those things that will help this podcast to be found by more people. And if you found it useful, there's a chance that someone else will find it useful as well. If you ever have any questions, I am here to answer your questions. I would love to help you. My direct email address is info@heatherstewart.coach. You can also find me at heatherstewart.coach. And if you go over to my website, you will find copies of the podcast. You'll find the link to my Instagram and my Facebook. And I do have a personal request because I do want to help as many people as I can with these podcasts. So if you could give me a review, and my friend, I would love if you gave me a good one. If you could share this, if you could send it out into the world, I would truly appreciate it. I hope that you have an amazing day. I hope that you are finding your way back to wellness by getting back to me. Take care, my friend. Be well, and we will see you again next time.